Hey there guys. So this I suppose is going to be my first real test with the new GoPro and my Cardo connected. So this is kind of everything that I was hoping to work towards. Um, yeah, when I got my GoPro Max 360 and then found out that I couldn't connect an external audio recording device. That was a bit of a mouthful. Microphone to it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this pans out. Obviously very much a test. I know that the GoPro records audio quite well, but I've heard mixed things about connecting through a Cardo. So we'll just see how it goes. And I think I'm going to head out towards a little village called Toddington, and then maybe round through Woburn Deer Park, and yeah, just see how we go. If I do go that way, then it's going to be one of my favourite roads that will go along. Sorry, I had to pause there because a car pulled out and I thought they were going to pull out right in front of me, and obviously I didn't really want that. So yeah, going to have a little bit of a ramble as well about mental health. Not from too much of a deep dive, but just because I mentioned in my video the other day, and if you follow me on Twitter, it's this thing called throttle therapy with motorbikes, and I've never really experienced it with cars and driving, but I suffer from imposter syndrome and also bouts of anxiety and all sorts of other stuff just from time to time, you know. It's just, I think life is heavy, you know, especially now, especially since COVID. And yeah, riding bikes just really helps me. So winter can be particularly tough, obviously, for everyone, because the weather's shit. We get seasonal affective disorder, which I think is actually a real thing. I think probably this is scientific, Matt, i.e. the world according to Matt. Probably because of a lack of vitamin D, and you know, the days are short, we can't really do the things that we want to do. And one of those things for me is biking. I mean, I'm not a fair weather rider by any stretch of the imagination. I still take my bike out mainly to look after the battery. I still take it out every couple of weeks when there's a dry day. But man, some of those days during winter, I took it out in early January, and it was, I think, 2 or 3 degrees outside, and I just didn't want to. I felt so apprehensive about opening the throttle up or kind of putting a little bit too much lean angle in. And it's just the weirdest thing. You know, I know that the tyres are going to do what the tyres need to do. But yeah, it's just this really weird thing. And obviously it's cold, and my body was fine. I think they're called Alpine Stars Andes V3 something or other. They're absolutely amazing. You know, if you're a biker and you ride more or less year round, I've had no problems with waterproofing. I've ridden in absolutely torrential rain in around September last year, I've ridden in, as I say, 2 degrees. I've ridden in 30 plus degrees. And the beauty of them is both the top and the bottom, they've both got a removable thermal liner. And when it's in, it's brilliant. And when it's out, if I need a little bit more cooling, there are vents just on the kind of outer part of the chest, which I unzip, and then they've got a little flap with a popper on the end of it, which you kind of fold out and then reattach to another popper on the jacket, and it keeps the vent open so you get additional airflow. Something that you don't really think about unless you've ridden bikes is in summer it can get brutally hot, especially when you're not moving. You don't take into account, like, the engine is between my legs, and I do not know why I've gone this way. I was meant to go a completely different way to this. So yeah, gonna have to try and get past this traffic somehow, annoyingly. Anyway, we'll make the most of it. This is purely a result of me rambling, and now I'm paying the price. But anyway, I think there's roadworks up here which isn't helping. But yeah, throttle therapy. To me, there's nothing like getting on a motorbike, not really having too much of a plan of where you want to go or what you want to do. Just kind of getting out there. I mean, obviously, I do plan my rides to a degree. I think to myself, I'm going to head off in X or Y direction. Or I want to go to this road because I like this road. I'll be a good boy. This is going to be a really boring video. But yeah, generally, I don't really have a great deal of a plan in mind in terms of an exact route I'm going to take. And then you get moments where I took completely the wrong turn on a roundabout. I was too busy talking, and I realised, oh shit, yeah, I didn't want to come this way. But as I said, we'll make the most of it. But yeah, being on a bike, the freedom is hard to explain. I don't know if cyclists would feel the same way. I think that if you're a cyclist, you probably have to concentrate too much on how tired you are or how much effort you're putting in, whereas on a motorbike, obviously you don't have too much effort to put in, and all you really do is kind of zone in and focus on what's around you, focus on what gear you're in, focus on braking points and turning points and what they call a limit point for corners, just to make sure that you're not going too fast into it, or, you know, making sure that you're optimizing your exit from the corner. And obviously, like I said in my car video the other day, you've got to worry about what other road users are doing as well. And that's not just cars, by the way. You have to worry about what other bikers are doing. Sometimes other bikers want to ride faster than you do, and they'll come out of nowhere, the same as they do in when you're in a car. And right now, I've got a complete dickhead right up my arse. Bearing in mind, I'm ever so slightly over the speed limit myself. And it's just like, what are you fucking trying to prove? Anyway, we have to deal with them. which is sometimes easier said than done without completely losing your shit. Which I get more on a bike because I'm a lot more vulnerable. But yeah, try and fucking follow me now, you prick. Yeah, I'm a lot more vulnerable on my bike. And I understand it's completely my choice to ride the bike. I understand the dangers, but just don't be a fucking prick, you know? There's absolutely no need for it. There's two bikers. Little nod. Something I quite like about biking really is whenever you see another biker, just a quick nod of the head, just to acknowledge that we're going through the same shit, probably. Got the same shit with car drivers, same shit with other bikers. Yeah, if this was a slightly nicer day, then when you get into spring, more so into spring, you start to get really, really nice little pockets of air, little air currents that that pop up, and you don't really think of it when you're in a car or walking. You're either enclosed or just not moving fast enough, but you'll ride, and if I'm going this kind of speed, or maybe a little bit faster, I'm currently going like 30, but if I was going say 60, I might not notice the air current so much. But just coming out of like a little pocket of cold air into a little bit warmer air, and you notice it, you're just kind of like, oh, that's kind of nice. And the same for the smell of fresh cut grass and flowers and all of that stuff. You just don't think of it. But it's all part of what I found became addictive to me on a bike. Yeah, you've got the speed and the acceleration, but that's not all there is to biking at all. There's so much more to it. As I said, the freedom and yeah, just everything. The attention that you have to pay. It's like mentally in my mind, when I'm riding a bike, I'm constantly scanning both in front of me and behind me. You know, is there a junction there? What's that car going to do? Is he braking? I mean, he's obviously going faster than I want to at the moment. Because this road is pretty sketchy with a little bit of debris on the floor, a little bit of gravel. Obviously all it takes for me to be down is just a little bit of gravel. When I turn in, a little bit of lean angle, and or a pothole. And that's me. See you later. I mean, I'm going 50, right? My front wheel hits a little bit of gravel while I'm leaning. I mean, there's no doubt about it, I'm fucked. Either injured, well, almost certainly injured, but I have this in my mind a lot when I ride, and it's not to say that I'm an angel, and it's not to say that I'm a saint when I do ride, because I, generally speaking, I'm not really. I try and keep myself safe within the realms of what I want to do, But yeah, no, I'm no saint, but I'm also not, I hope, one of these bikers that gives other bikers a really bad name all the time. I like to think that I'm pretty respectful of other road users. And in turn, I moaned about that guy in a Land Rover that was up my arse about 5 minutes ago or so. In general, I find other road users to be really, really accommodating. Generally, really, yeah, just, I don't know if I'd say a pleasure to be around. But if I'm filtering, for example, I notice a lot more cars that want to give me, like, literally actively move across for me, the same as I would for a bike. I'd just move over slightly. If they're coming up on my right, I'll just move over slightly on my left, and give them that little bit more space to pass. And I notice so many drivers doing it for me as well. Not all. Some will actually move to the right to try and block me. You know, and that's up to them. I mean, they obviously see me as some kind of threat to them and their space. I'm not a threat to them and their space. If they let me go, I'm gone. You know, they literally won't see me again. Yeah, I'm no threat to holding them up. Just like, in fact, if you don't let me go, if you don't let a biker go, all that you are doing is adding to the traffic for the person or the people behind. I just become another road user that's occupying a piece of space that another car could be occupying. Whereas if you let me go, eventually I'm going to come to the front of that row of traffic, and then I'm going to be gone. Not holding anybody up. So, yeah, I actually came along this road. I used to drive along here all the time when I lived in Milton Keynes. I used to work with a guy who used to take a shortcut, quote unquote, to the M1 or M1 Junction 12, which is actually where I just was. And he used to come this way, and I never really understood why. There were always better ways to go. But I also came along here on my refresher training. Which was just a nice hour with an instructor that I didn't know. We kind of did some stuff on a 125 just to get my muscle memory and stuff like that a little bit recalibrated, I'll say, because I thought, you know, I thought that my clutch control and rear brake, you know, using a rear brake as a stabilizer, I thought that would have all gone out the window. So we did some 125 stuff, and then he pops me on a 600, and we did the same sort of stuff, little figure eights and little circles around the car park. And then after about 10 minutes he said, yeah, this is pointless, you know what you're doing, let's get out on the road. And we came up, yeah, this way, basically, to the Triumph shop in Woburn. And yeah, I'd already actually bought this bike when I booked it, so it's just as well that I was alright. And then the first time that I took this bike out, some guy overtook another car coming the other way, and That's probably the closest that I've ever come to, well, to probably being dead, in all honesty. I got all the way over to the left of my lane like this to be able to let this car pass, and it was really, really close. And like I say, that was on my first ride on this bike, my first ride in about 15 years it would have been, and it shit me up, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it really shit me up. And I got home. I only took it for a 10-minute ride. I took it from where I live to the roundabout at the bottom of, thank you, Whipsnade Zoo, and then back home. And it was just as I came off the roundabout at the bottom of Whipsnade Zoo that this incident happened. And I got home and I kind of thought about it. I was like, wow, I've never had an experience like that in my years of riding prior. And I kind of took stock and just thought, you know what, that's just it's just one incident in how many hours I've actually ridden my bike or bikes over the course of the years. And I managed to settle myself, which was probably just as well, to be honest. The only other incidents that I've had, I made reference to in that car video the other day, and that was very recently. That was when I took my bike to Barking last Thursday when it was really nice weather, and two cars decided to basically almost sideswipe me. This road here is one of my favourite roads on a bike. I've joined it kind of more than halfway along, but yeah, it's a really nice little road if you haven't got traffic. Or even if you have got traffic and you're in a place where you can overtake. But unfortunately I don't. I'm not going to overtake on a solid white line on my side. This bit here is really nice when there's no traffic. And it's actually reasonably well surfaced, this road. They're gradually getting around and doing some resurfacing, I've noticed, which is obviously good. This ride's kind of gone a completely different direction to what I expected it to. I'm now anyway. So I'm in Woburn now, and the last time I came through here, well, through the deer park anyway, I did actually get in one of my first videos, and I was really lucky to have a couple of stags walk right in front of me, and they held me up, but it was an absolute pleasure to be held up by them. Just, yeah, really, really nice. Just to be that close up to them. So, I will actually ride really slowly through here because it's good to be respectful of nature. And I don't want to scare any deer, you know. It's easy enough to do at the best of times. In the video that I was talking about a minute ago, you could actually catch a couple of them laying down and then hearing my engine and taking flight. So I don't want any of that. Oh, we have got deer out. That's good. Oh, loads of them. Loads of deer. Oh, they're so gorgeous. You won't be able to see what I can see, which is why I'm getting a chin mount. There's so many. Little, there's there's little, I don't know what you call them. There's baby deer. ah, oh man. I wouldn't even have the same excitement if I was driving. I just would not have the same excitement for it. Oh, I'm absolutely made up, man. That's made my day. And it hasn't been a particularly good one either, so yeah. Yeah, that was lovely. I went a little bit high pitched and giddy. Just love animals, you know. I think you got to be dead inside to not to not to not find deer and just animals in general just really, really cute. It's an amazing world that we live in. And I don't think we recognise it enough. I'm actually going to turn back round and go home a very similar way. So we're going to go back through the deer park, over the cattle grid again. Brr. And yeah, I tried to move my camera around so that you could actually see the deer a little bit better, but I don't think there's a movable arm on it. Oh, there is, but let's try. No, I'm not going to be able to. I'm just covering you up. But just beyond that tree, you can see a massive crowd of them. And then all the way down the bottom of the hill on the right hand side, there's loads as well. Oh, it's just lovely. Anyway, I think I've probably done enough talking to last me 5 videos. We just sort of got off on one and rambled big time. So if you managed to make it this far, then I really, really appreciate you watching. Have a great day wherever you are, and I'll catch you next time. If you're still watching, I am actually still here. I just wanted to make reference to the amount of horse shit that's been in the middle of this fucking road. But it feeds into what I was saying earlier about debris, and you just don't know what's on the road. You have to be really careful. Another bit there. So maybe I'm not quite gone yet. Maybe I'll just observe little bits that I see, if I see fit to. Which is probably how these videos should be, rather than me just rambling. I love this road. BMW driver's a little bit of a legend. He's actually driving a nice speed. And I'm not feeling in a particularly fast mood today. Not that I am ever particularly fast. I mean, I'm, generally speaking, a very conservative rider. But every now and then, you know, you've got the power there. It's tempting to use it. And it does get used. Told you it gets used. I needed a little bit of that, you know. Like I said, my day hasn't been particularly good. So that's a nice little burst. They're the little bursts that make everything worthwhile. When I first came back to riding, I was so apprehensive. I made overtaking out to be a real big deal in my mind. You know, is my bike really fast enough? And man, this bike is more than fast enough. More than fast enough. This bike, considering it's 10 years old, this bike is an absolute joy to ride. Maybe a bit naughty. Well, not even naughty, but probably more ill-advised, because this car's definitely going to be going the same way as me, which is left. But yeah, we'll see how this pans out. I'll just move forward a bit further, actually. There we go. Nice. Oh, we got some traffic, boys. Got some traffic. I feel like this ride has lifted a massive, massive weight off of me. I feel so much lighter in my head. This is, like I said, this is why I do it. This whole stretch of road all the way up to the next roundabout is actually average speed checks. So, unless the traffic is moving considerably slower than me, I'll be a very good boy. And I'll do as Mr. Speed Limit says. I'm in no rush. I said earlier about when it's hot and when you're at a kind of standstill, how warm it can get with the heat coming off the engine and obviously the ambient temperature around you already. It's just as bloody much the other way round when you're cold, or when it's cold. I'm wearing my summer gloves and it hasn't been a particularly long ride, but my god am I feeling it. I'm really, really feeling the cold on my hands. I think it's about 11 or 12 degrees, but the wind chill really does get feel colder. See, we're not all idiots who always want to go as fast as possible. Like I say, my riding style is pretty conservative, and now and then I get my little gremlin on my shoulder who wins. I'll go a little bit fast and I'll settle back down again, but generally speaking I just want to get where I'm going, get a little bit of lightness in my mind, let everyone else get on with their day. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Life's hard. It doesn't need to be made any harder. Ah, this is what people don't warn you about biking. Fly's just gone up my nose. Ah, because I have my visor open. But if I close my visor, it's cold, I've got my glasses on. The moment I close my glasses, if I'm not going fast enough for the air to come through my chin vent, then yeah, they'll fog up. You don't really think about it. And then you've got the inside of your visor which can fog up, but we use something called a pin lock insert for that. It kind of turns your visor into double glazing. It sounds weird, but that's exactly what the science behind it is. It traps a layer of air between the pin lock and the visor, and yeah, as a result, it doesn't fog up. Even just sat here, the heat from my breath is steaming my glasses up. Decent bike over there. I bet he doesn't hang around. I don't know if you can hear me, I'm constantly sniffing. I'm really sorry if that's coming across in the video. But it ain't the warmest. I knew he wasn't going to hang around. What a lad. Oh, we've got another one here. Another good old boy. Little nod. It's the camaraderie that we have on the road, guys. I just love it. I think the sense of speed that you guys get is quite warped. I'm actually going 30 at the moment, like bang on, and it probably looks faster from my experience in watching and knowing what speed I was doing at any given point. Anyway, I think that is literally where I'm going to love you and leave you for the second time. So again, I mean, if you made it this far, then you are a complete legend. And I'd love it if you could comment just to say that you made it to the end. That'd honestly, that'd make my day. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Told you it gets used. I needed a little bit of that, you know. Like I said, my day hasn't been particularly good. So that's a nice little burst. They're the little bursts that make everything worthwhile.